Shalom, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace, love, and salutations and endurance to the hopeful elect brothers that's enduring in this faith. I want to do this quick little video because this article I came across on before it's news. And the article is stated Saudis Iran on path to very, very bloody war, and it was posted Wednesday, November 15th, which is today. And the reason why I want to go into this article and do a quick lesson on it because my previous video was a video on how the Most High is moving chess, like moving these countries and these nations around like chess pieces to put them in place for the war of Armageddon, the war to end all wars, World War III. And in that last video, I went into the fact how Iran is setting up a navy or setting up a military bases in Syria, and they set those bases up in Syria for um, for the reason of being in better position to uh, shoot missiles on Israel and the United States. And Israel don't want them setting up their military base over there in Syria because why? Because they're getting close. They would be stationed closer and easier of a target. But in that same article that I brought in that previous video, it was stated how Iran thinks it's a that it's a mistake for Saudi Arabia to view the United States as allies and to view Iran as enemies. Well, and they said in the upcoming weeks we will see how true that is. Well, this article is basically going more enhancing in that situation because Saudi Arabia and Iran are now on the warpath. And that, so does that make that statement secure and true? It kind of seems like it, but it doesn't really matter because all the countries that are going to, it doesn't matter how you start off, it matters just how you end, because all these different countries that are in other countries, or whether you're in the United States slash Israel's back pocket, or whether you're in Russia, China's back pocket, it doesn't matter. You're all gonna do exactly what the Most High wants, which is for America to be destroyed and for the nations to do it. And I want to bring out a quick part. You brothers can read this article um, on your own time whenever you're able or want to. I'll post a link in the description, but I want to read a real portion of it. Okay, it says here, it says, if they do not do something about this, speaking about, what the article is saying, because they're in the article, it tells you about the pros and cons, or basically an illustration of what would take place if this war was to take on a serious thing. Like if it happens, it's gonna bring forth, it can and probably will bring forth a very a destructive uh, global economic destruction because of the cost of petroleum, or the cost of how much it would cost to buy petroleum worldwide. Because I believe Saudi Arabia, they control that whole Middle East area, controls about at least 30% of the world's petroleum, which would be detrimental on a global scale. So I just want to read this quick part. It says, if they do not do something about this, presumably with the help of the United States, they will be encircled, and the resources on which they still rely on very heavily, namely the sales of petroleum, can be cut off at will through the Persian Gulf or the Red Sea by the Iranians or their proxies, he said. Even with massive military resources courtesy of the United States, Gaffey does not believe the Saudis can match the Iranians help with the Iranians without help. He said Egypt and Jordan would be heavily recruited to join the fray, along with possibly U.S. air power. Her said, her said the Saudis don't have the personnel to do the job. They've got an enormous amount of very advanced equipment, Gaffney said. Gaffney, and I'll go into who Gaffney is in a moment. They just don't have many people who have either the skill or the will to wield it in defense of the kingdom of their interests more broadly. As for the Trump administration's position as events unfold in the Middle East, Gaffney said the United States ought to be publicly on the side of the Saudis. Why? Because the United States struck a deal many years ago, which basically had them globalize the monopoly on petroleum, which made the deal between the Saudi Arabia and the United States with the petrodollar, which is the using of the United States U.S. dollar and converting into purchasing petroleum through the petrodollar system. So of course they should want to be on the side of the Saudis. However, However, he said the most important tactical policy is to stop Iran's nuclear program. Hold up. Okay. United States, Gaffney states that the United States should publicly be on the side of Saudi Arabia. Why? Because you're in bed with Saudi Arabia financially. But instead of just backing, let's not just back Saudi Arabia as they go to war with Iran. Let's try to neutralize Iran's nuclear. Instead of doing that, let's just try to neutralize Iran's nuclear program. Now, basically, let's stop them from being able to what have war against have nuclear capabilities in case of a war was to start. Wait a minute, you're the United States. You're the big bad wolf. Why are you afraid of this? This is all because of what? This is all because of the United States knows that all these countries want to shoot missiles on who? On the on them. People want to blow the shit out of the United States, and that's biblical prophecy. Our interests at the moment lie with trying to deprive the Iranians of their nuclear and other ambitions, he said, and that's going to be vastly harder today than it was before Barack Obama's stated greatly before Barack Obama stated greatly enabling those ambitions. And now Obama used to try to enable those ambitions. Why? Through sanctions. He used to put sanctions on Iran so they can try to stop Iran's nuclear enable them to not have a nuclear program. Now let's get into who Frank Gaffney is. It says Frank Gaffney is the founder and president of the Center of Security Policy in Washington, D.C. Under Mr. Gaffney's leadership, the center has been nationally and internationally recognized as a resource for timely, informed, and penetrating an analysis of foreign and defense policy matters. Mr. Gaffney formerly acted as the Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Policy during the Reagan administration. Following 4 years of service as the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Nuclear Forces and Arms Control Policy, previously he was a professional staff member on the Senate Arms Service Committee under the chairmanship of the late Senator John Tower, a national security legislative aide to the late Senator Henry M. Jackson. So this guy's basically a national security expert. He's a scholar when it comes to international foreign or domestic policy when it comes to international war. So he knows pretty much all these things. So basically everything he's stating in this should be on point. and it seems to be on point of what's going on in reality, and of course, on point with the scriptures. So I want to bring out a couple of scriptures. This is Jeremiah 49:15, because all this articles, that the last article and this article is all basically getting geared up for the destruction of America. So America be blown up. When you read in um, Matthew's 24th chapter, it tells you about the wars and rumors of wars. So we've had plenty of rumors of wars, and we're gonna have some mini wars. Then you're gonna have that big bang war, which is World War III, the annihilation of America. It says, "For lo, I will make thee small among the heathens, and despised among men. Thy terribleness had deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, that holdest the height of the hills. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, said the Lord." And you notice it's talking about America. America's symbol is what? The eagle. You go on any United States Postal Service post office, you'll see the eagle on there. You look on your dollar bill, you see the eagle on there. America's the eagle. The eagle represents the highest flying bird that looks over. It flies the highest, looking down on all its prey. And also, America sets its nest in the skies with a satellite system. It's many different reasons why you know that it's talking about America. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof, as the overthrowing of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, said the Lord. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. So America is going to be utterly destroyed. This is Isaiah 47:1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal. Uncover the locks. Make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man." And America's shame is being shown. You got the men of the Lord uncovering in your nakedness by letting everybody know while we're going out there teaching on the streets and making these videos. And then you have your own experts. You have your own Edomites that are doing specials to let you know that this place is going to be destroyed. It's being uncovered on all angles, and the other nations are definitely seeing it, your nakedness. Verse 4. As for our Redeemer, this is talking about Yahweh Shai not meeting you as a man, and he's our Redeemer. It says, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, his name, the Holy One of Israel, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Now, why is America called the Lady of Kingdoms? If you look in sitting in I forget where it's exactly at in New York, but the Statue of Liberty. It was given to the United States, I believe, by the French Masons, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a gift. America represents the city of the it represents the that city that is going to be destroyed. But in the city of New York sits the Statue of Liberty, which therefore is the Lady of Kingdoms. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient thou hast very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Now, America, when it says that America is very heavily laid thy yoke, you know this talking about America is talking about the Most High's people, which are the Israelites. In what what happened to the Israelites here in America. Our blood has been shed on this soil. What they did to the Native American and Seminole Indians, what they did to the so-called Negroes, which are the tribe of Judah, and what they did in the time of slavery. You laid your yoke very heavily, and you haven't let off on that yoke. Even though we're not in slavery, you still persecuting and you still afflicting our people. So I just got two more scriptures, and I'm gonna bring this lesson to a close. It's Jeremiah 50 and 45. It says, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he had taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he might propose against the land of the Chaldeans." It's talking about America. "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make thy habitations desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations." Now, the least of the flock that's going to draw them out are these smaller nations that are getting strong and getting nuclear capabilities, and they're going to be like basically different countries that's going to draw America into a World War III, the invasion in Iran, and then you're going to have Russia and China that's going to join in, and it's going to join in as the big dogs that's going to be the first to lay hands with nuclear capabilities on the United States, America, which is Babylon, and then you have your other nations that are going to shoot their nuclear capabilities on America, and the other nation is going to be afar off, and they're going to be in sorrow behind it. This is Revelations 18, and I'm going to start at 15. It says, "The merchants of these which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing." Like, notice how it's America is classified as a her, the lady of kingdoms, right? Verse 16, "And shall say, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls," because this is basically all represents what rulership represents, being like a king. America's was looked at as that place of a kingdom that people want to come to. "For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the companies and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city?" And they, because all these countries, America is the biggest import export in the world. All these other countries, they import, they do import and export by trade by sea, um, here to America. The big craniums that come in with their goods, and they sell it here in America, and America exports their goods out to other countries. And so this is these other countries make money with America by doing business by trade. "And it cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich and all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heavens, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High had avenged you on her." Which we waiting for this day. We waiting for this day daily. Daily we hasten the day for this times. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone. Like a great millstone. It's ironic, and it's spiritual, man, because the number one group out there, Israelite group full of men of the Lord, are a great millstone who go out week in and week out and putting up these videos on a weekly basis. We doing this work, man, that shows you who the Most High is using as his spiritual great millstone. It says, "And cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all." So that great millstone has already begun with starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down to us brothers who are in order under the apostles and elders in Great Millstone. We make up the spiritual great millstone that the Most High is using spiritually and verbally to take this place down. And then he's going to use these other countries that will be the physical great millstone, which is those nuclear missiles to shoot on America and to take this place down. Verse 22, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of the millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee, and the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth. By thy sorceries were all nations deceived, and in her was found the blood of of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. Amen, man. We waiting for that time. When that time, you ain't gonna have people ain't gonna be singing, people ain't gonna be working, people ain't gonna be building anything. None of this will be taking place. People ain't gonna be partying. They're not gonna be having a good time because America will be destroyed, and those that are left therein will be destroyed right along with America. And Lord willing, this video was edifying. I want to say the water to all who tuned in, and to the next to the next segment. I want to say all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the whole elect. Shalom.